Hello students, I hope everyone is doing well and welcome to EDLE 8305. We are combining two courses into one. In other words, there were two sections that I was assigned, and so we've combined that into one. So I'm speaking to 50 students that are technically all in the same section of this course. I've taught this course quite a bit in the past, and so I'm looking forward to teaching it again. The good news is, after so many times, I can usually answer your questions really quickly. If I was in one of the other classes that I haven't taught as much, it takes me maybe a little bit longer to answer, but I am excited to be your instructor for this course. And I want to start by, and I am in student mode, which I'm not normally in, so it takes me a little bit longer because it looks a little bit different than what I'm used to. I want to start with the syllabus. My information is right here. This is my cell number that I have with me all the time, and you are more than welcome to call or text or email me at any moment. I fully recognize that you guys are working professionals. I remember the days. I'm not so old that I don't remember the days of being extremely busy, and I know you have a lot of fires that come up unexpected. So anytime you have any issues, or go ahead and talk about due dates while I'm talking about that, or if you're not going to make a due date because something has come up at work or with your families, or whatever the case may be, please communicate with me. Obviously, that should not be every single assignment, but when you do have things that come up and you need to be past the due date, please make sure you talk with me. That's really my main thing, is don't let the due date pass without you reaching out, especially if it passes a few days, a week. It's really hard for me to then go back, but make sure you just communicate with me. And I am fine with whatever mode of communication you prefer. If you are a texter, I can do that. I'm fine with that. If you are a phone call person, certainly fine with that too. Or if you prefer to email, I prefer this email. You can email through Course10 if you would like, but I really prefer this email. And they gave me a really easy one, david@westga.edu. It's just that I can respond quicker when it's in Course10. I have to log in. It takes me a little bit longer, but I do pride myself on responding very quickly because I know you guys are probably going to be working at hours at night on the weekends and holidays, and you can contact me at any point. Again, I recognize that you probably are not going to be working much during the day, but if you are, you can reach out then. But if not, and I will get back with you as soon as possible. If it's after 9, I am getting a little bit older, and so I do generally go to bed by 9. It'll be the next morning that I'll return your call, text, or whatever it may be. But please reach out and communicate. That's the main thing. There is no textbook with this course, so there's good news. All of the reading is articles and different things that we've assembled through the years of this course. All of it is still relevant. So we do go through and update it, and so everything that is required reading is still relevant to school situations and those things that you deal with. So that is good news, though. There's no textbook. We will look at the assignments in a different way, but I did want to show it here on the rubric. You can access it through there, and I've gone through and made sure all the dates line up. But if you do see something that's contradictory on the due dates, or actually on anything with assignments, please make sure you reach out and tell me. I actually get offended if you don't reach out, because I pride myself and we pride ourselves on making sure things are clean and align well with what we're doing. So please point things out. Again, I've taught this many times. I've tried to catch most everything, but I'm sure there's still something that I'm missing. So that's the syllabus, but I wanted to show you, actually, if you're a person that does well with printouts, you can always look at this and print it out and put it on your desk or refrigerator or whatever the case may be. So this is available under content as well, if that'll help you. So the course itself There are very few quizzes. I'm not a big fan of quizzes. There is a syllabus acknowledgement that I need you to complete pretty quickly. This registers your attendance, so it's important that you do that as quick as possible. The course obviously opens on the 10th, and we need that back by the 12th, but you can do that in just a matter of minutes. The other quiz is a reading quiz, on module 1 is based on the reading. It's a quiz. There's 3 attempts, and I believe it displays the incorrect answers if you have any. So that shouldn't be a problem. And then if you want to take the module 4 quiz at the end, instead of doing the course evaluation, you can be the first student that I've ever had to do that after many times teaching this course. So, but that is an option if you would like it. There are discussions in this course. Because we've combined 2 sections, there's, again, 50 students right now, could be a few more added. So I have put you in groups. Obviously, the groups are, if you do the math, the groups are kind of large, but you're not doing group work where you're depending on someone else to do their part. Let me mention, there is a hello if you want to do that. It's really great. You don't have to do a video. You can if you want to. But it is great if you just share a little bit about yourself so that we know where you work, that kind of thing. Let me get out a student real quick so I can show you the discussion. So the discussions are an important part of this class. So you will have a module 1 discussion where you'll look at protocols. Expand that. So they're NSRF, that's the website, but they're NSRF protocols for how you structure meetings and things. It's pretty self-explanatory. You'll do that on your own, and you'll start a post or thread, not a thread, but a post with your last name and the one that you select, and that's due by the 5th. But the other ones, the module 2 and module 3 discussions, you will respond to a thread that I start. The first one will be open February 9th, and it's due March 2nd. You'll have 3 posts, and there'll be a video, and you can read the directions. I don't want to take up too much time on that right now, but I'll start the post, and then you'll just reply to it with your link to your video. Again, pretty self-explanatory. The people in your group will see your post, so just make sure you know that. I'm sure you're not going to put anything in it that you mind anybody seeing, but I always just like to point that out. And then the module 3, you will reply with a narrative per se to the thread that I start. Again, you don't start the thread. I'll start the thread, and then everyone in your group will reply, and there'll be 3 posts. Again, pretty self-explanatory. And then the main part, obviously, is the assignments. And you will have module reflections from the reading that you'll do. The main thing I want to emphasize there, you'll have one due February 9th, March 23rd, and then a final one April 27th, which is a video. The video doesn't have a rubric, but the other ones do have a rubric, and actually most of the assignments have rubrics. I put this in the descriptors for the assignments, but it is so important that you follow the rubric. I grade directly from that rubric. So if you follow that, you're going to do well. I like to say, if you follow things, turn things in like you're supposed to, or communicate with me, you're going to get an A in this class. You put in the work, and pretty much if you follow the rubric, you're going to be fine. So I can't guarantee that, but you're certainly more likely to get an A if you follow the rubric. So please make sure you do that. The key assessment is a talent management plan that deals with personnel, HR, and things of that nature. This is a planning document where there is no rubric, because you're basically just putting in dates of when you plan to collect the data that you need for your key assessment that's due at the end. And then there is a school safety assessment based on a DOE school safety checklist. That is a paper. Again, follow the rubric for that. On the key assessment, I do want to mention this. It is very important that you remember, and I put it in here, you're not just assessing the current status of how you do things with your school system, you're also evaluating that to provide accommodations and recommendations Sometimes students at the end, they're working on that paper and they do a great job detailing the current practices, and that's great. But the purpose of this assignment is to take those current practices and evaluate, in your opinion, your professional opinion, what are we doing well and what do we need to improve upon? And that's, pretty much every situation in education, you have things you can assess and say, wow, we're doing that really well, but that really needs attention. And that's about continuous improvement, which is what school leadership should be about. So I've mentioned that several places, but it's real important because, again, when you follow the rubric, it's important that that part's included, okay? I went really quickly. I'm trying to see if I left anything out. That is mostly it. You've already been assigned your groups, and you'll see that as people post, you'll see your group members in that. But the main thing that I do want to emphasize, again, is just make sure that you communicate with me, that you ask questions, that you reach out, and know that I'm here to be of service to you in your professional growth. And I look forward to working with you, and reach out anytime. Thank you.